This next guy's a real good friend of mine. He hosts Stamprov at Go Comedy. It's like improvisational stand-up. It's every Wednesday at 10, right? At Go, just down the street over here. So, ladies and gentlemen, give it up for my good buddy Andy French.
What's up, Ferndale? How we doing? That was we're all doing quite well. That was good. Where are my Ferndale people at? Anybody here from Ferndale? No? Jesus Christ. Blain and Diego have pull. All right. Well, I'm from Ferndale, guys. I'm from Ferndale. I love this city. It's a great city. I just got back from East Lansing recently. I don't know if you know this. East Lansing was recently voted the most gay-friendly city in Michigan. Right? So give it up for East Lansing. That's good, right? Yeah. Except for this is Ferndale, so fuck him. What the fuck happened? Where did we go wrong? Like, I've never been to a city in Michigan that has more rainbows than this fucking place, right? It's great. And there's a bunch of people, like, there's a Ferndale forum. It's a Facebook group where people talk about Ferndale issues, like white privilege. They were all upset. They were like, how could we possibly lose this honor? And I was like, I'm pretty sure it was the second you built that Buffalo Wild Wings. Good wings do not make up. No. It's the holiday season, guys. There's a creepy fucking Santa behind me. Holiday season always gets me sentimental. I start thinking about things like my past and Jesus, right? And I was looking at old pictures of myself from when I was like 20 years old. I used to be a lot, like I basically used to look like Jesus, is basically what it was. I was a lot skinnier. I had a goatee, long hippie hair. Not the real Jesus, but like the one that white Polish people hang on their wall, that one. I looked like him. And now I look in the mirror and I'm just like, oh God, you look like Jesus if he figured out he could turn water into wine and just said, fuck it. There was recently some news about Jesus. I don't know if you guys heard this. They found a piece of papyrus, which is a fancy old word for paper. And it dates back to when the Bible was written, and it refers to Jesus having a wife. And there's a lot of people that were upset about that, and I don't get it. Because, of course, Jesus had a boo. Of course he did. One, back then, everyone had like 6 to 12 fucking wives. He had to have had at least one for people just to pay attention to him, right? Just to save face. But also, just imagine, ma'am, imagine you're a local Bethlehem dame, right? You're hanging out at the Bethlehem pub, right? Times are tough in Bethlehem. The economy is rough. You're drinking water, right? And Jesus walks in. He sees you. He makes eye contact with you. And he's obviously like, that is a lovely lady right there, right? And so you're drinking water. He walks, and he's always, every movie I've ever seen Jesus in, he's super fucking hot, guys. His abs are always like really awesome and glistening while he's up there on the crucifix, right? But just imagine you're down there, you're hanging out. He walks in, you guys make eye contact, and he's like, hey, how's it going? Couldn't help but notice you're drinking water. Not anymore. Thank you. Rest of the set. Yeah, that's how Jesus works. That timing could not have been better. Fucking high five for the waitstaff here, guys. You're not drinking water anymore, and he's just done, right? You're wooed. He's just like, hey, how about you go back to my place and wash my feet? Wash my feet is definitely biblical for butt stuff. That's what I've decided. Just not a butt stuff crowd? No? Well, strap in, because we're about to talk about it. I think butt stuff is weird. I think it's a little bit too much. I don't understand the motivation, but I do have a rule with butt stuff when it comes to the ladies, which is only upon request. It's only when they ask you, because there's no good way to ask a lady during a romantic time if you can put it in her butt. There's just no good way. The English language is not capable of doing that. It's not fucking possible. I also have it on extremely good authority that you should not just assume. Should not assume that's okay. To me, butt stuff is a lot like cocaine. It's not the reason I showed up to the party, but if someone offers it to me, there's a 50-50 shot I'm totally gonna do it. Totally. Because why not? You're out, you know? Just have an experience. What the fuck? I do think, I mentioned earlier, I do think there's a lot of, I don't like when people don't acknowledge that white privilege exists, because I think it very obviously does. And I'll give you an example. I have gone to 5 colleges. I have 180 credits, no degree, all of which was paid for by my father, and he still talks to me. That's a white privilege right there. That doesn't happen to other people. There's another one. This one's my favorite. I don't drive my car without smoking weed. Right? That's a fucking great white privilege right there, man. It's fantastic. On top of it, I drive a beige Subaru. It's like the most incognito car known to man. I could just be driving down the street throwing heroin out my back window past a cop, and the cop would just be like, holy fuck, heroin is appearing out of midair. Someone save that bearded lesbian that's driving in front of it. She looks very nice and sweet. Don't want her doing heroin. I've never done heroin just because I'm scared of needles. That's such a shitty excuse not to do heroin. Such a pussy excuse not to do heroin. But there is a lot of white privilege. A lot of weird. It's weird right now. It's a weird kind of. I feel like we're going through the 60s again a little bit, and the racial tension is kind of intense right now. There's a lot going on. And did you guys hear about the St. Louis Rams? They came out to their game. They all had their hands up, right? And they said they were doing it in solidarity with Ferguson, which is fucking fantastic. Is the reason they were doing it, but I'm not entirely sure they just weren't worried about being shot by the cops that were at the field. They're just like, oh man, just keep them up until we get our hands on the ball, and they know we're supposed to be here. I fucking hate football though. I do. I think it's a pussy sport. I do. Fucking go watch one game of rugby, and then come back and look me in the eye and tell me why they need so many pads in the NFL. Right? Fucking pussies. They got like fake air conditioners and stuff. Like, no, fuck that, man. Get rid of the pads. It would be a way better game. Give the pads to their wives, because they obviously need it more. Oh, it's all because it's true, guys. It's all because it's true. The rest of this set is going to be brought to you by CC, Canadian whiskey, guys. It's cheap as fuck here. Drink up. You got any smokers in here? Any cigarette smokers? Yeah. Oh. That guy, how old are you, sir? 60? Sweet. I'm feeling good about it now. Feeling like I can make it. I was supposed to stop at 30. That didn't fucking happen. I love smoking. I love it. I fucking love it. It's like the extension of my hand that I didn't know I needed until I had it. Right? But what I don't like is that there's nothing really in it for you anymore. Do you guys remember Marlboro Miles? Yeah, he does. I invented Marlboro Miles. No. Marlboro Miles were fantastic, man. If you were just like an occasional smoker and you bought Marlboro every once in a while, like you could get a sweet ass fucking duffel bag. That was all it took. Just being a fucking social smoker. If you were like a regular smoker, like I'm a pretty mediocre, I'm like right in the middle. I'm a regular smoker. You could get a sweet leather jacket. And by sweet, just imagine air quotes while that's happening, right? And then they always had that one that was just completely fucking unattainable. It was like the Marlboro Ferrari, right? Like if you smoked enough to do that, you were already dead. At very least, there was no way you had the wind power just to turn left, right? Yes. But they made it illegal. They made it illegal because they didn't want kids to try and get the sweet-ass leather jacket, right? So they didn't want kids smoking. I get that. I don't want to be a bad influence on kids. But I do think they should have just updated it to make it, just make a little bit more sense. Like, if you're a mild smoker Marble points. We're going to buy the flowers for your funeral. Right? Pretty mediocre smoke. You're like right in the middle there. Hey, we got this sweet-ass marble coffin over here. Bright red and white. Very cool. And then there's always that unattainable one, right? There's always that one that's so many fucking points that you'll never be able... We'll cure your cancer, guys. We'll do it for you. That's Marlboro. No? All right. Just too many cancer people in here. I hope... I'll come visit all of you in hospice. I will. All right. We'll wrap up on this. You guys familiar with East Point? It's a suburb of Detroit. Yeah. That's the appropriate response for East Point. Is like, woo. But East Point used to be called East Detroit. You guys know that? Yeah, he knows it. Yeah. Used to be called... You live there? All right. Used to be called East Detroit, and they changed their name. Because they didn't want to be associated with Detroit. All right? If I was the mayor of Detroit when that happened, we would have been Point City the next fucking day. Yeah. Well, no, it wasn't Coleman Young. It was the people at East Point. We're not going to get in a Coleman Young fight now. That's not going to go good. But here's the thing, is they didn't even go all the way through with it. It's still East Detroit School District if you go through East Point. Way to half-ass it, East Point. Fuck that. If I'm the mayor of Point City, that's Point City School District over there. That's Point City Hall. We took the Joe Louis Fist downtown and we fucking made it Point. Awesome. All right, guys. You guys have been great. Give it up for Blain and Diego again. Give it up for the New Way. Love you guys. Have a good night.
Andy French, everybody. Andy French. Are you guys having a good time? All right. This next guy, he runs a show in Ferndale, monthly showcase. The first show is December 19th, Friday at 8 o'clock. Give it up for the second funniest host of the Blain and Diego Show, Mr. Blain Hill, everybody. Mr. Blain Hill.
Give it up for Diego, guys, right? Thank you. I appreciate that, sir. Thank you guys for coming out. I'm going to start off with this. There's no way I can say this without it sounding like a lie, but some of my best friends are black. There's a friend I have back there. He's a black guy. So, growing up, like, a lot of my friends were black, and I never really thought about it because I was a young kid. You're just friends with who you like, right? But then growing up, you kind of try to figure it out why that is. And I think I figured out why that is. It's white people don't really know how to have fun. Because, like, I'm up here doing my favorite thing in the world. My name's on the show. They got a poster up here. I'm having kind of an okay time. Like, this is where I max out in fun. Like, I'm not gonna get any more fun than this, guys. Sorry. You guys like a hip young crowd. You're probably on Facebook and stuff like that. One of the things I don't get about Facebook is like the inspirational statuses I'll see a lot of times. Especially usually because they're from some like really hot girl in her 20s. All her pictures is her having the time of her life on some dude's boat. Oh, you mean to tell me all I need to do is get rid of all the negative people in my life and follow my dreams, and then I too can blow a dude who has a boat? Should have known that years ago. I love boats. But there's one inspirational status I see a lot of times that I don't really understand. It goes, fall down 7 times, stand up 8. It's supposed to mean if you keep failing, keep trying, and you'll succeed, right? Kind of makes sense that way, but mathematically that doesn't make sense at all. Because if you fall down 7 times, you can only stand up 7 times. And then you're stood up. So, unless you start out on the ground, but how did you get on the ground? That's a fall right there. Like, how is this supposed to help me get in this dude's boat is what I'm trying to figure out, guys. That's what I need to know. I also use Tinder. Any of you guys use Tinder? No, nothing from up front, surprisingly. Never would have guessed from the wafts of Werther's Originals over here. So, sorry,